Hello everybody, this is Matt with remove-malware.com, and tonight I'm going to go ahead and take a look at Returnil or Returnil. I don't know how they say it. I'm sure somebody will correct me. Anyway, I'll call it Returnil. What Returnil does is it virtualizes your entire operating system so that any changes you make to it or something malicious makes to it can be totally disregarded and undone by a simple reboot. So let me go to full screen here. I'm just going to go to their website really quick. I know some of this is kind of boring. You can fast forward through this stuff. Some people like to see it. It's just Returnil virtual system. You can go to returnil.com and it'll reroute you to this Returnil virtual system. So they have 2010. I think you can try a free version. Yeah, you can. You can click download now. There's nothing you have to sign up for. It just takes you to Major Geeks and you can download it. It's a small download. I think it's only like 20 megs. And it is free. The free version gives you these things right here. You have a virus guard, a safe system virtual shield, a virtual disk. This is where you can save files to. So if you reboot, you can go ahead and save anything you worked on, like Word documents, Excel spreadsheets, things like that. It's got a whole bunch of other stuff, and they have really great documentation on the site, and you can read all about it there. Then they have the full version of Home Lux, Enterprise Classic, and Enterprise Premier. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the install. And this is my first Vista demo, so I am running just plain vanilla Vista right here. Just going through the typical install mode. Nothing special. I'm not going to be really testing it against 10 viruses. That's sort of pointless. Because it doesn't matter if I install a million viruses. As soon as I reboot, everything just goes back to when Returnil took a snapshot of my system. So make sure, all you really have to do is just make sure you have a clean system when you install Returnil. And they actually do a scan of your system using, I'm not sure what kind of virus scanner. I don't know if it's their own or somebody else's. I forgot to check on that today. So that's the install. It's fairly quick. And now we have to go through, I believe, some kind of setup wizard. I've only done this like twice. So it's going to perform a quick scan of my system. It says this step will analyze your computer by scanning critical system areas. The cleanup suggestion will be presented if quick scan identifies malware or other potentially unwanted applications or programs running on this computer. So we'll click next. This I had trouble with. It would never update, but that was a couple days ago. So maybe they're just having a little hang up. So I will go ahead and pause while this is going on. Be right back. Okay, my antivirus updated, and it wants me to reboot. So this system, it has built-in antivirus, but it really doesn't matter because nothing gets saved at all. So you have a spot on the hard drive. It's your Z drive. It's a virtual drive where you can actually save documents that you want to save throughout reboots. But with the free version, as soon as you reboot, everything's back to normal. Everything's back to when you installed Returnil. So it's great for people, you've got kids and they tamper with your computer, or you think you know a lot about computers but you tend to mess them up and they just don't reboot right, or they don't run right. You get infected with viruses a lot. You love going to you know, shady sites, and or you just want to go browse the web and not have to ever worry about being infected. Just do a simple reboot. Everything's right back to where it was once you installed and ran that Returnil initial wizard. I haven't noticed any kind of slowdowns or anything like that. It's been pretty normal for me. In fact, I always forget that I have Returnil turned on. So you'll notice when you actually make a change to the system and you reboot and it's gone. So okay, I've already done that. Click finish. So return nil comes up and it says it's turned off right now. And here's your four little menus here. Basically, you have a virus guard. I find it kind of redundant. I mean, you can start a scan, you can update it. I wouldn't really focus on it. It doesn't really matter. As soon as you reboot, you're back to where you were. My safe system is turned off right now. So if I did get any infections right now, they would stick. So what I need to do is enable it. So it says it is recommended that you close all programs before proceeding. Click OK to enable this. So we'll say OK. It says protection mode initializing. Okay, so right now I can do anything in my system. I can delete files, delete pictures, I can infect it with a million viruses. Doesn't matter. As soon as I reboot, all that stuff's gone. I'm right back to where I was a few seconds ago. So I'm going to just go ahead and say enable when I start Windows. So if I do that, it's going to be enabled. System safe is going to be enabled every time. So right here under Tools, it says Virtual Disk is not created. You can define or import your list. Well, I can't really do anything while System Safe is enabled. So I'm going to go ahead and restart again. It says warning, all changes will be lost at the restart of your computer. And what we're going to do next is create a virtual, it's a place where you can save files. I forgot what they call it. Virtual disk, I guess. So basically a Z drive, a map drive. So I probably should have done that first, but that's okay. You can fast forward through all these dumb parts. Alright, log back in. takes a few minutes to start up. I don't know if it's probably a little bit slower since I'm running a virtual machine. So I'll double click Returnil, and I'm going to go ahead and define or import my virtual disk. It says right now I have nothing. So if I click virtual disk, I can hit create. And I'll just give it 500. You can specify your size in megabytes. So I'll give it 512 megabytes. This is basically a .image file. So it's creating this little spot where I can save files when I want to reboot. And I'll actually do that now. Let's pop open Notepad. This is a file that I want to save. You could just say save as my important file. We have to wait for this to finish. Okay, so I have a Z drive now, and I can save this in my Z drive. So browse, computer, there's my Z drive, and I can save it. So at this point I have my Z drive enabled. I can go back and turn on system safe. Now as soon as I restart everything in the system gets reset back to where I was just 1 second ago, with the exception of my important file. That stays untouched. And I will go ahead and enable system safe when I start Windows every time. And now we have to do, well actually we don't have to do a reboot, but I kind of want to show you that files get saved in the Z drive. So I'll do one more reset. It's not I mean, there's really not a whole lot to this program. I mean, you kind of get the gist of it already. It's just a really easy way to keep a system at a certain state no matter what happens to it. But I'm going to go ahead and give you a little demo of, deleting stuff and showing it to you and all that. Now usually I would pause through all these things, but I'm not sure my pause button's working when I'm in full screen, so I'm not going to take a chance. Boy, I love these easy reviews. I'll tell you. Keep in mind that this is free. I mean, that's pretty awesome, really. Now you get a lot more features when you register it for, what, 40 bucks? It's probably worth the money. Okay, let's look at my my Z drive as soon as it pops open here. Okay, there's my Z drive. It just got mounted. And you can see my important file is still there. So, so what do we do now? If we open up Internet Explorer, And hang on a second, I need to grab some, let's grab a rogue antivirus or something like that. Let me just kind of minimize this, and I'll pause it, I'll be right back. Okay, here we have a fake antivirus scanner. It says warning, your PC is at risk. You know, typical fake screen. I'll go ahead and say, oh gosh, I better remove all these viruses and run this. Just say allow. So who knows? I'm installing Trust Cop. I haven't seen that one yet. It's the rogue of the day. Okay, so there's Trust Cop, some rogue software. You know, so I'm basically I've got some rogue on here I can't get rid of and all that stuff. And when, let's say my daughter comes home and she's messed up or whatever, in a bad mood, and decides to delete all of my pictures. And it's a little slow because I have no idea what this rogue did to my system, but it's slower than crap now. So, you know, she deletes my pictures and she kills all my downloads. And even all my iTunes music. And then she empties the recycling bin. And now I say, oh, no big deal. I have Returnil turned on. So I know that when I reboot, if I restart, all of that stuff is going to be, the rogue is going to be gone, and I'll have my pictures and my music and all that stuff back. So I just restart. So let's face it, Returnil is not for the average user. I don't think they would really discover it on their own. It's really simple to use, in that you set it up, you go through a little wizard, and then, you know, mom and pop, you know, whoever gets in a computer and messes it up, you know, your kids or whatever, as soon as they reboot, everything's back to normal. You're not calling some tech out to, you know, come and repair your computer. It's corrupted. You've got tons of viruses. It just doesn't exist anymore. You can forget about antivirus. To a certain point, you don't want to have some kind of keylogger on there. So that's why Returnil comes packaged with, you know, a malware scanner. But you can also add on things like Spyware Doctor or Malwarebytes, Super Anti-Spyware, Zamana Anti-Logger. You know, if you're really paranoid, you can always do that. But the cool thing about it is I just meet so many people that have corrupted systems from something stupid they did, and then they've got to pay me. Now, I like being paid, but it's just neat to see something that, you know, just restart and boom, everything's great again. Yeah, I like technology like that. And we're back to my desktop. You can see the Trust Cop rogue is gone. It's like it never existed. If we go inside Dear Old Dad's documents, I should have my music, pictures, and downloads. I don't think I deleted downloads. I think I forgot to. But all that stuff should be back. So, look what we got here. We've got our pictures and our music, downloads, all that stuff is back again. Like it never happened. So that's really my review of Returnil. Not a whole lot to say. You want to save documents, you can create your virtual disk, which will be your Z drive. I would get your system all nice and pretty and prepped before you use Returnil. Makes it a lot easier on you. If you want to install applications after you've installed Returnil, just turn off your system safe or safe system safe. Just turn this off, install your applications, then turn it back on. And that's really it. Right now, you can see I'm using the free version. If you've got somebody in your family driving you crazy, always messing up their computer, always getting infected, just use this. As soon as they call you on the phone, they're bothering you at night, just tell them to restart. That's it. Anyway, I have a computer I have to work on that I forgot about, so I gotta get going. So that's the end of my Returnil review. It was quick, but easy. So talk to you later.